Trump tried to throw away your votes. When he failed, he sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol.
That's a lie!
Assaulted law enforcement officers.
That's a lie. It's not true. Sarah, she quite literally just, that's a bald-faced lie.
I'm listening to this and I'm like, he should sue your ass. That is blatant defamation. He never said that. And do you know how I can say that so confidently? Because there's video of it. Welcome to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Happy Friday. I am joined by Eric July, Blaze TV contributor and founder of Rippaverse Comics. And we are about to go take you now live, as of the time of this taping, to the RFK Jr. Press conference where he is going to endorse
of civil rights.
Donald Trump.
The Democrats stood against authoritarianism, against censorship,
So
against
while he's
colonialism, imperialism, and unjust wars. We were the party of labor, of the working class. The Democrats were the party of government transparency and the champion of the environment. Our party was the bulwark against big
just
money
for the viewers, as he's kind of giving his little speech here
it was the
about Democrats. We do know, from a court filing that he just filed in Pennsylvania that he is withdrawing his name from the ballot, and he lists the reason as the endorsement, today's endorsement of Donald Trump for president of the United States. So this is not just a rumor. This is what he's leading to. So let's listen.
Wanted to abandon democracy by canceling the primary to conceal the cognitive decline of the sitting president. I left the party to run as an independent. The mainstream of American politics and journalism derided my decision. Conventional wisdom said that it would be impossible even to get on the ballot as an independent because each state poses an insurmountable tangle of arbitrary rules for collecting signatures. I would need over 1 million signatures, something no presidential candidate in history had ever achieved. And then I'd need a team of attorneys and millions of dollars to handle all the legal challenges from the DNC. The naysayers told us that we were climbing a glass version of Mount Impossible. So the first thing I want to tell you is that we proved them wrong. We did it because beneath the radar of mainstream media organs, we inspired a massive independent political movement. More than 100,000 volunteers sprang into action, hopeful that they could reverse our nation's decline. Many worked 10-hour days, sometimes in blizzards and blazing heat. They sacrificed family time, personal commitments, and sleep month after month, energized by a shared vision of a nation healed of its divisions. They set up tables at churches and farmers markets. They canvassed door to door. In Utah and in New Hampshire, volunteers collected signatures in snowstorms, convincing each supporter to stop in the frigid cold, to take off their gloves, and to sign legibly. During a heat wave in Nevada, I met a tall, athletic volunteer who cheerfully told me that he had lost 25 pounds collecting signatures.
The big news,
117
which I'm like, come on, let's go. I know you want your moment, but
lunch money.
I just, by the way, for the viewers, again, this is live to us right now. We're watching this as it's happening.
Our 50-state organization collected.
How much of an effect do you think that this has on Donald Trump's polling once he finally gets to his message here?
It's hard to say. I mean, if we're assuming that everybody that supported him
campaign staff
is going to support Trump,
right,
it's significant.
Yeah.
At least in some capacity.
Yeah.
And I do think he draws from the Democrats, obviously, perhaps more than anybody. So it's significant for Trump. But again, that's assuming that everybody also is going to follow suit. They don't despise Trump that much,
right,
to actually follow what RFK Jr. is saying. So we'll see.
Yeah, because I think that there is a certain subset of the either Democrat or independent voter who is just too broken beyond repair to support Donald Trump. Like they've got it in their they've got it in their brains that I will never vote for that man for whatever ridiculous reason, they want to cite. But there is a certain subset that like they will not vote for him no matter what. However, that I don't
go to waste.
Oh, here we go.
I'm here to tell you that I will leverage your tremendous accomplishments to serve the ideals that we share, the ideals of peace, of prosperity, of freedom, of health, all the ideals that motivated my campaign. I'm here today to describe the path forward that you have opened with your commitment and with your hard labors. Now, in an honest system, I believe that I would have won the election. In a system the kind that my father and my uncles thrived in, a system with open debates, with fair primaries, with regularly scheduled debates, with fair primaries, and with a truly independent media untainted by government propaganda and censorship. In a system of nonpartisan courts and election boards, everything would be different. After all, the polls consistently showed me beating each of the other candidates, both in favorability and also in head-to-head matchups. But I'm sorry to say that while democracy may still be alive at the grassroots, it has become little more than a slogan for our political institutions, for our media, and for our government, and most sadly at all for me, the Democratic Party. In the name of saving democracy, the Democratic Party set itself to dismantling it, lacking confidence in its candidate, that its candidate could win in a fair election.
It is interesting to think about
the DNC
what demographic his voters really are, because he's all over the place with his policies. He's like a crazy environmentalist, wants crazy climate change proposals, but then also, which you would associate with like a radical leftist, but then also he wants to totally reform Big Pharma and the FDA and the CDC. He questions, he's a very obviously infamous vaccine skeptic. I don't want to call him anti-vax because that's a negative association that it shouldn't be. But he has all of these policies all over the board that it really is, to your point, hard to know where those voters are going to go. But, or if they, because that's the other thing, if they show up at all.
That's something I didn't consider.
That's an enthusiasm issue.
That's true. That's a good point.
Because you've got all of these leftists that are, and we're keeping an eye on this, by the way, you've got all of these leftists that are probably staying home because they want Kamala to be all in on Hamas, right? Like Kamala is too, Kamala is not pro-Hamas enough for them. And so you've got all of those voters who, I mean, I don't know for a fact that they're going to stay home, but you have to imagine that the enthusiasm is not going to be there to get out on election day or during early voting and go cast your vote for Kamala. So you already have them. Now you may have these independents as well who, okay, maybe they can't be bothered to vote for Trump, but do you really think they're going to show up on election day and vote for Kamala Harris?
Yeah, so, I think that's where it goes. I mean, considering his history, he's been a Democrat, and that you think of the two, that's where he's going to pull from more. So either it is a wash, considering everything that you just said, or it does benefit Trump more than anything. And look, it's hard to say. It really is, because how you feel about Trump is largely irrelevant. Unfortunately, he's seen as, it's not that he's seen as, he just is, right? As far as the divisiveness, and I'm not saying that in a negative connotation. I'm saying it in the literal sense that there are folks that love him. It is hardly you meet people that are just on the fence about a Trump, right? So they love him, or they're like, I despise this man.
Right.
So of those that will at least, even if they have to hold their nose, go support Trump, how many of them does this move the needle for? It's hard
It
to
is-
say.
it is
I
hard
really don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know.
It is hard to. I think that it's hard to quantify, but I don't think that it is unreasonable to say it will affect Trump positively rather than Kamala.
Oh yeah, I think
If they were going to vote for the left wing machine, they were already going to be there,
Yeah.
right? Like the people who had already deviated were going to be those Democrats who are like, I'm done with these radical leftists. I'm done with this Democrat machine. I want something new and fresh.
if it was to be of benefit to someone, it was going to be it's going to be a Trump.
Yeah.
Automatic
Yeah.
in his campaign. And look, I don't know what comes of it. I don't know what deals they struck. Is he going to be part of his administration? And
Right.
look, when you have an administration, maybe that's how you deal with a guy like RFK Jr. because it's like, well, we know that he has these other policies
Right.
that are absolutely negative that we don't
Right.
want no part of. But you put him in a position to succeed by letting him lead on the ones that you think that he's good at.
Exactly.
He has no bearing on everything else that he's bad at. He has no influence there. But on the things that you think, like maybe attacking Big Pharma or whatever, do you put him in a position to at least oversee at least in that capacity? And if you can, maybe that's your dub.
Right. Which I would say, yes, that's where he needs to go in an administration. Here, we've got him coming back up here. But that does also put Donald Trump in a strange spot because Donald Trump has not yet admitted that Operation Warp Speed was a failure.
Great point.
That the vaccine has its own problems, and he hasn't admitted that yet. So how do you thread that needle with RFK Jr. now in charge, planning to burn the house down?
Great point.
I don't know. I'm not saying like I don't want it to happen. I'm just saying if you're Trump, you have to be thinking about how do I come out of this not looking like I was wrong in his very Trumpian
Trump way. Yeah,
Right.
in his old Trump way.
Right.
That's a good point. I mean, maybe the only way to spin that would be to say, hey, now I'm trusting this guy to fix it. I was relying on bad data. I was relying on people that I trusted that obviously didn't have it all together. But even then, that's going to have to force him to admit some level of fault, right? Where you weren't able to
Doesn't like
sniff this
doing
stuff
that.
out. And he doesn't like doing that.
Like doing that. He has shown us in the last, it's been 4 years since COVID. It feels like 84. He has shown us in these 4 years post-COVID. Well, I'll give him 3 because if we're just talking about the vaccine, that did come out a year into it. So I'll give him 3. In the 3 years, he has not shown propensity to have a willingness to admit that he was wrong. So, look, we all have our faults. It's kind of a big one.
It is. That's a hell of a fault. But
So RFK is talking about how terrible the Democrats have become, how far they've fallen caring about democracy.
Instead of maintaining that posture of fear, skepticism toward authority, your institutions have made themselves government mouthpieces and stenographers for the organs of power.
See, I
You
watched
didn't
an
alone
RFK
cause the devolution of American
rally,
democracy,
and I
but
really was
you could have
impressed by
prevented it.
everything that he had
The
to say,
Democratic
except
Party
for the
censorship of
policies
social
that I
media
disagree with. But his, do I think
even
that he
more
would have
of a
united the
negative
country had he ever
executive
gained any
power.
sort of momentum enough that
This
nobody,
week,
I mean,
a federal
nobody
judge,
thought that he
Terry
would, so I'm not saying he was going to.
upheld
But in a
Biden's
different world, in a
injunction
different
against
universe, I
President
do think that he would have brought some
Calling the White
sense of
House's
unity to this
censorship
country. I do think that he would have
egregious
not been
violation of the
divisive
First
like the
Amendment
current
in the
administration
history
or
of the
current
United
Democrat
States
Party.
of
I do think that
America.
he could have
Odie's previous
brought fresh
155
blood.
decision
Well,
details how
he's a Kennedy, but
just
he would have
37
brought like a
hours
fresh
after he
feeling
took
into the
over
Democrat Party that I think that it probably
wearing
needed
the
before it just implodes.
President Biden
So it'll be interesting to see where the Democrat
his
Party
White
even
House
goes
overall
now because the factions are just growing more and more divided
and
within
they're
that party.
they're within you got the uber leftists that are there, and if they wanted any chance to divide it, they would have an actual blue dog. But I don't even know if blue dog Democrats even exist anymore. I think the last one was Jim Webb, and we saw what they did to him. They wanted no part of him whatsoever. He was the last one that was like, everybody on this stage is crazy as hell to be against the concept there was that one time that even Hillary said capitalism was good. I don't know if you guys remember that. She was like, I don't want to destroy this one thing that built this country. I was like, Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I know her party hated her for saying that, but that goes to show how far gone that they are when you got someone like make Hillary look like a moderate.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, he's taking too long to get to the damn point, so I'll just give it to you. Okay. All right. Bye, RFK. So RFK Jr. is dropping out of the race, officially endorsing Donald Trump. He is appearing with him today in Phoenix, Arizona, to just join him on the campaign trail. And I am very excited that he has finally decided to come to this decision. I do hope that he puts him in charge of something having to do with burning down Big Pharma. And also, I say the medical industrial complex because that does include all of the players within the CDC, within the FDA. I mean, this is a very incestuous relationship that this particular public-private partnership has that needs to be burned to the freaking ground. So when we come back, let's go over. RFK was standing up there shitting on the DNC. Let's do the same, if we may. First, I want to thank our friends over at Cardio Miracle. Cardio Miracle is a supplement that you put in your water, and I drink. I say it's my pre-show ritual. It is, but I sometimes bring it on set, which I have right now in my cup. It's sourced with 55 of the finest food, plant, and herbal ingredients, best natural flavors in the world. It works wonders and it tastes great. So there's no reason not to go try it. Check them out over at cardiomiracle.com/Sarah, promo code Sarah. That is cardiomiracle.com/Sarah, promo code Sarah. Well, in case you missed our DNC roast last night, yes, Kamala Harris did in fact accept the DNC nomination, and she said that her election would be an opportunity, Eric, to move past all of the bitterness of the past, even though she's been in office for the last 3.5 years. Is incredible to watch.
Our nation with this election has a precious, fleeting opportunity to move past the bitterness, cynicism, and divisive battles of the past, a chance to chart a new way forward. Not as members of any one party or faction, but as Americans. And let me say, I know there are people of various political views watching tonight, and I want you to know, I promise to be a president for all Americans. You can always trust me to put country above party and self.
That's enough. I've heard enough. Eric, we have a fleeting moment, of just a quick fleeting moment to move past all of this garbage that we've been dealing with. Who's bringing it to us? She's acting like she's not is it a different Harris in the Biden-Harris administration? This has been you this entire time, chick.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's much of the same thing. I mean, when you look at it like, okay, you had Obama, vice president was Joe Biden. Joe Biden becomes the president, and you're his vice president. We're getting the same stuff.
It's all been
the same
you.
stuff. It's all the same, connected. There's no different.
Right.
A new way forward, which she got really close to saying a great leap forward. I wish she would have said that. That would have been more akin to some of the policies that to be fair, she didn't have policies, but you get what I'm saying. But no, it's Kamala Harris is she's annoying, but I'm not stupid in the same respects, and I know that unfortunately there are people that are gullible and all of the
are stupid.
You put it there perfect. There are people that are stupid and will fall for her and what she says, and she doesn't need to say much. I think it should be telling for every American out there, when you don't have to have policies, you know that this is a glorified beauty pageant. That's all the presidency, to be fair, has always been, but especially now. She knows, Democrats know, that I don't got to run on jack. Let me just say a couple of one-liners here, do some photo ops here, say some little things, and y'all, I almost call folks out of their name, and I shouldn't do that. But people that are gullible, right, will cling on to that stuff as if she is awesome. And she's not.
No.
She sucks. Okay? Biden sucks. They all suck. And it doesn't make any sense. If we're looking at this logically speaking, I know everybody keeps bringing it up. This whole why doesn't she do it now? And I don't think people are hammering it home enough because she is the vice president of the United States right now. She is serving right now. So only two things can be true. You know, either she's full of crap, which that's the one that I'm going to lean towards, or, and maybe I can see where people reason with this position as well, or she's, she just is what she is. And that's just a ditzy idiot that is really in over her head, doesn't really control everything. And maybe people are going to rule on her behalf, which is what we argue what happened with Biden in the first place, right? And if that's the case, okay, cool.
Right.
Let's just call it for what it is. But let's not, the fact that the media, more or less the leftist media, are able to kind of pose the idea of her being a president like it's this new leader. We're going to get these new policies that are going to make it better for the American people. And I'm sitting here like, well, she's already there. And my life has gotten worse, and I'm not saying my life is bad by any means. I'm just saying everybody's life, as far as definitely economically, has gotten worse over the last 4 years. And the things that she does pay lip service to would be things that will make it far more worse, like price controls of any sort of kind, which are, I'd argue, the most dangerous positions that she has, are the fact that she wants to implement those. And because everybody, more from the economic perspective, has this idea that it's someone else's responsibility to take care of it, well, a lot of folks will cling to that and will unfortunately vote for Kamala for that, because they're going to take it to the rich people that are stealing from everybody else, not understanding that if you raise prices on them or you control prices on them, for sure you're going to get taxed in some form or fashion. It might not be directly from the government, but something else is going to go up and you're going to suffer because of it. And people, we've seen in the past, they will vote against their own self-interest.
Right. Yeah. Well, so let's just go ahead and take a look at some more of her bullshit from the night. Here's one claim that they keep saying over and over again. Donald Trump's official playbook is Project 2025. Watch.
And we know what a second Trump term would look like. It's all laid out in Project 2025, written by his closest advisors.
No, it's not.
And its sum total is to pull our country back to the past.
Okay. I would say for the last time, but I'm sure it won't be for the last time to have to say this. Project 2025 was compiled and written by the Heritage Foundation. It is not directly associated with Donald Trump.
He didn't even know what it was.
He had no idea what it was. He's never endorsed it. And by the way, let him speak on his own behalf, to which I don't agree. I would just like to point out, but let me just let Donald Trump speak on his own behalf. This is his take, actually, on Project 2025.
For him to say about Project 25 is disgraceful. They know I have nothing to do with it. I had no idea what it was. A group of people got together. They drew up some conservative values, very conservative values, and in some case, perhaps they went over the line, perhaps they didn't. I have no idea what Project 25 is, but they use it and they know it. Just like Charlottesville, totally discredited. They use Charlottesville. Biden gets up all the time, says Charlottesville. He ran because of Charlottesville. He got run out of office by the Democrats. They did a coup on him.
So the only policies endorsed by Donald Trump, to be clear, are Agenda 47, Trump's RNC platform that they just tweaked. And for the record, again, I don't like that he is not associating with Project 2025 because I think it's great. But the truth is he's not, which, by the way, even the idiots over at CNN are debunking now. Watch.
Listen to this claim from Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester of Delaware about Project 2025 and former President Trump.
He has, with his friends, said the quiet parts out loud, but not only said them out loud, he wrote a book about it.
He literally did it!
Project 2025.
This guy's on autopilot, bro.
That is false. Trump did not write Project 2025. The project's big policy document published by the Heritage Foundation think tank lists dozens of people as authors, editors, contributors. Donald Trump is not among them.
Even this knows.
But that's the problem, Sarah. I mean,
Sorry,
again,
I'm sorry.
Not to be a doomer, that's the problem. They can lie and get away with it because it's not like the people that they're trying to appeal to are going to verify anything.
Yeah.
They're on autopilot. This is why NPCs have always been a proper, for people that don't game, right? Non-playable characters, right? It's been a proper thing to describe them because that's how they operate. Like, for those that understand gaming, they're on a script, right? They can't really deviate from that, right? There's no way that if they're not coded to do it, they can't really do it. If they do, they'll glitch out. They'll malfunction.
Right.
That's effectively how these guys are. So that was the narrative that they wanted to run with, right? It's false. Who cares? They don't have a backup plan, and unfortunately, they don't need one because the American people that are going to listen to them are going to say, yeah, and they'll repeat the lie. They'll just repeat it. They'll just say it over and over and over until they're blue in the face, even though he's explicitly stated that he has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, so but and I don't disagree with you about the NPCs, but it gets even more egregious, Eric, because they keep also saying, it's not just that it's Donald Trump's Project 2025, but that Project 2025, if you read it, you will see that they want to get rid of our Social Security programs, our Medicare program. They want to get rid of it. They want to gut it.
It's the wrong platform. You go to the ANCAP platform, we'll make sure we getting rid of all that shit.
Yeah, which, by the way, that's another thing that I'm like, I mean, I wish he would say that,
Absolutely.
but unfortunately, he's not.
That's not his position, unfortunately.
So let's watch that claim. Watch.
We are not going back to when Donald Trump tried to
when things were better.
Social Security and Medicare.
He didn't, but he should have.
Right.
I make the argument easily that he should not. Or he should have cut it. I mean, Social Security, I know there's probably going to be some older folk that watch me that are going to get angry at me. It's a Ponzi scheme, okay? The money that you got stolen from is gone. It's not there. There's no, well, we can get rid of it if they give me my money back. They can't give you your money back. It's gone. Right. They're robbing the current generations to pay for the older generation. That's all it is. It's quite literally a Ponzi scheme. The money is gone. And it needs to be rid of. Yes. I don't know if you guys write checks, the guys that do write checks, and the guys that you see it on your check as well. If you're just employed by just anybody, you see how big that damn check is coming out, and probably if you're working right now, it ain't gonna be available anyway.
Right.
So we need to cut our losses. But going back to the point, that's not Donald Trump's position.
No,
it's not. It's never been his position. I wish it was, but it's not.
Which is like, that's why it's like, no, you trust me when I tell you. If it was, I would be shouting it from the rooftop because I would love it. Yeah. It's just not his position. And by the way, to clarify, and to Eric's point, I think it sucks. Like, it sucks for people who have paid into the system the entire life. It sucks. I'm not saying like you should be without money. I'm just saying we have to fix a broken system, and we can't keep kicking the can down the road.
Cut the losses.
So one more here. Let's talk about this claim that, again, just widely circulated the entire convention. Donald Trump, if elected, he's going to ban abortions nationwide. Watch.
He and his allies would limit access to birth control, ban medication abortion, and enact a nationwide abortion ban with or without Congress. And get this, he plans to create a national anti-abortion coordinator and force states to report on women's miscarriages and abortions.
This is just, it's just totally made up.
They are out of their minds.
Strange, because Trump's being hit by the right.
Yeah, he's
he's
the most pro-abortion candidate I think you might have ever had, to be completely honest. Like, he is. Let's be real with it.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say pro-abortion, but what I would say is...
I'm saying, comparatively speaking, absolutely he is. It doesn't sound right, but he's not Sara Gonzales in terms of his position on pro-life. These guys, and it's been that way for, it's why they say that Republicans are just Democrats going the speed limit. Him, and it's not just Trump, to be fair, they have become more, and granted, we know what happened with Roe v. Wade, but they have been...
Which was his.
Absolutely.
Give credit to him.
Most definitely. But as far as I'm talking about, like, whether it be a state or the federal level, the Republican Party in general has become softer on that, right?
They took it out of the platform. It's not even in the platform, which again, it's just frustrating because you have both sides hitting Donald Trump on the same issue. Yeah. Only one of them is correct. Right? Only one of them is correct. You guys are saying they're putting words in his mouth that he never freaking said. He put the justices in the court to overturn Roe versus Wade, which, reminder to the libs, because they're retarded, that just returned the right to the states.
Yeah, it didn't eliminate, it wasn't an abortion ban.
And he has said multiple times, I'm good with the SCOTUS decision. I think that it was correct. I think they should have returned the rights to the states. I think it should be a states' right. And to credit him, I know the pro-life, I know we got to take a break. Hold on. To credit him, the pro-life movement likes to criticize him for that. And I understand the criticism, and I don't love it either. But can we just also say he's saying exactly what SCOTUS said, right? Like, his position is the same as SCOTUS. And he's just saying, I believe in, in federalism.
If it's not going to be eliminated, and I end on this note, if it's not going to be eliminated, the most preferable thing would be to leave it up.
Right.
Basically it's a decentralized solution.
Right.
Absolutely. Instead of leaving it up to one entity, you leave it up to 50. Fine with that.
Right.
It's preferable.
Right. All right. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. I was like, why did I do that? Throwing something. We got to take a quick break. We'll be back with more, but we want to thank our sponsor, Birch Gold. So listen, we're talking about pretty unstable times, crazy times. And in all of these crazy times, there is sort of a peace of mind and security for, everyone, our country, our families. But you are not actually financially secure if all of your eggs are in one basket. Gold and silver are a really great way to diversify your savings. They've been historically a great hedge against inflation, which we're experiencing right now, even though Kamala doesn't want to tell you that. And they are a physical asset that is in high demand globally from, the wealthy all the way to central banks. So my friends over at Birch Gold Group can help you own physical gold and silver in a tax-sheltered retirement account. So you can diversify an old IRA or 401k you've got sitting around, lying around for no money out of pocket into an IRA in gold and silver. Text the word Sarah to 989898. They're going to send you a free no obligation information kit, and you can learn the role that precious metals play or can play into your overall saving strategy. So text the word Sarah, SARA, to 989898. So we have Kamala's lies about what Donald Trump wants to do about abortion, which is obviously not true. But I want to talk about what Kamala herself pledges to do to radically increase abortion rights. Watch.
And when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law.
And wait for it. Oh, there's a baby.
That's pretty awkward, huh?
You got to wonder if that was like a pro-life director.
Yeah, like put it right on that guy, right on them holding that baby.
It was either a pro-life director or a director who was so stupid about the issues that they're like, ooh, they're talking about babies. I found one. Go.
Damn.
Because I don't know why else you would do that. Steven, any thoughts?
I think you're dead on.
Which one? I just gave two options.
Well, I'm saying it's either one or the other. It can't be anything else.
It has to be. Well, they were directing the DNC, so I'd like to believe that they were just dumb. That's what I would like
Most
to
people
believe.
in there.
So one of the other egregious things that was, lies that was paraded around last night was that Donald Trump sent all of these people down, an armed mob down there for January 6th. Watch.
Not only the chaos and calamity when he was in office, but
there
also
was no chaos
the
and calamity
gravity
from him.
of what has happened since he lost the last election. Donald Trump tried to throw away your votes. When he failed, he sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol.
That's a lie!
They assaulted law enforcement officers.
That's a lie. It's not true. Sarah, she quite literally that's a bald-faced lie.
I'm listening to this and I'm like, he should sue your ass. That is blatant defamation. He never said that. And do you know how I can say that so confidently? Because there's video of it. God. Can we play that, please? Can we play that? We have that. Do we have the video of Donald Trump calling for a peaceful protest?
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. Today we will see whether Republicans stand strong for integrity of our elections, but whether or not they stand strong for our country.
Stephen, are you secretly anti-Trump? Because you left me hanging there. Did you not want me to play Donald Trump and the truth about him saying he wanted a peaceful protest?
No, what I said is you need to clip that previous part about suing the administration and tweet it and CC his entire organization, because that absolutely needs to happen.
I mean, it does, right? He lit you from the horse's freaking mouth. Peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. And this says he sent an armed mob.
That never happened. Armed, yeah, I guess they
so
were
egregious.
Talking about attack police officers. Well, we know that didn't happen. Just lying. Just absolutely telling lies about that. And it's crazy that they're still running with it. Despite the video evidence, despite everything about, still folks out there running with the Brian Sicknick stuff. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. But I was talking about this not too long ago, that the people that she's trying to appeal to are not going to fact check her. They can't deviate from that. There's a person that they need Trump to be, and that's who Trump will always be. It doesn't matter if he says something explicitly that is contrary to what they need to believe. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter. Trump, we need you to be this guy. So we're going to operate as if you are that guy. And they're smart enough. We look at Democrats like they're dumb, which they are. But they're smart enough to understand that their base does not need to, that they don't need to have the facts on their side to rally up their troops. They don't have to do that.
Right. It's just, but so to the point that we were talking about earlier in the show, I don't the RFK voters. They're not gonna listen to that and go, oh yeah, I'm gonna vote for Kamala instead.
No.
Again, they may not vote for Trump, but then I just see them staying home. Because the people who would be voting for RFK Jr. you can at least say are critical thinkers. They're not these followers that you have in the current Democrat Party that are just like, Donald Trump bad, Orange Man bad, I'm not voting for him ever. That's what you have in the current Democrat Party.
Yeah.
Those are the people that you're talking about. Yeah. The people, I may disagree with them on their policies, but the people who would vote for RFK at least can go beyond party lines and talking points and think for themselves. And there's no way they're going to listen to that woman spew all of these lies and be like, yep, that's my gal. I cannot lower my expectations of the American public, the critical thinking American public that low. Maybe I'm just trying to be optimistic so I don't cry or throw myself off a freaking bridge. I don't know.
Look, I'm right there with you. I think that's more likely to be true, is that they will think a little more critically on this. I think if they were going to support Kamala, they would have already done that. Again, I believe that he draws a lot more from the Democrats in the first place. So, yeah, you would hope that, for the sake of the Republicans, I know they would hope that, okay, go support Trump. Your guy supporting Trump, go support Trump.
Right. All right, we've got to take a quick break. We'll be back. Well, it's only been 6 weeks too late, but members of Donald Trump's Butler Secret Service detail have finally been put on administrative leave. This is at least 5 Secret Service agents, 1 member of Trump's personal detail, and 4 members from the Pittsburgh Secret Service field office. Took them 6 weeks, Eric, 6 weeks to determine something that, I don't know, say you or I could have determined probably immediately following, which was things went very wrong and people need to be held accountable. And our taxpayer money funded a 6-week investigation to, by the way, only put them on administrative leave.
That's insane, by the way. The whole shtick is still, there's so many questions that have not been answered. I know we talked about it on one of the shows, I believe it was last week, where even they cremated, right, the body, and they did it pretty
10
early.
days, 10 days after.
Quick. Yeah. It was pretty quick. It's just a whole lot of just shenanigans all together. If I'm Trump, man, I just don't trust those guys at all to protect them. And the unfortunate thing is, as with anything regarding government, obviously the Secret Service, they're going to have special rules per se, that they can only, they're the only ones that have to abide by them, but they also have special privileges. So even if he wanted to get his own security, they're not going to be able to do the things that the Secret Service, are going to be able to do. And that's what sucks, because it puts him in. He basically has to use them, right, for protection, right? That's the position that he's in. So you're using protection that you can't trust.
Yeah, which, I mean, it was interesting, too, because he just the other day, we saw that there was a manhunt underway for a man who had threatened to shoot Donald Trump while he was in Arizona at the border. And he was giving this press conference, and he was just told, and he was like, oh, really? They didn't tell me that. I don't know why they didn't tell me that. Maybe they didn't want me to know, but he made a comment within his answer that was like, mistakes were made and they're gonna have to learn. And I wonder if he knew that this was coming.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's got to be such a difficult position too, because you also don't know how many of the Secret Service members actually hate him. Right? Like, how many of them politically just hate him?
I think that question for sure was something that needed to get answered, or we were asking when his deal got raided. Because there was a bunch of shenanigans with that as well. And I was like, are they in on it? Right. And how do you know that? Like, it's a very difficult thing to assess those people and be like, well, you're on my side. You're actually just trying to do your job versus, yeah, you're here to do your job. But the person that you really answer to, it ain't Trump by any means. Right. And it's not any members of his staff. Right. It's somebody else. Right. And the man has been shot at. And it sounds like a conspiracy, but of all people, it does sound like if it was to be an inside job, who would it be against?
Exactly right. Exactly right. Right.
Against Trump. Yeah. Of all people, it would have to be against him. We just saw the man on live TV get shot at.
Get shot.
Yeah. Well,
shot.
Not even shot at. He got shot. Yeah. He legitimately got shot. So, yeah, if there is a inside job, if the Secret Service or agents are in on it, yeah, it would be against him. And it seems it's not even conspiracy. It's like almost it seems like that would make the most sense if I am to try to make sense of this whole scenario, right? And everything that's happened to him over the last just year.
And that's what's so frustrating is that you see, I mean, even Representative Mike Waltz, I believe, was coming out and saying, I'm on the committee where we're investigating this. Yep. And he had 3 different, he had encrypted messaging apps, accounts or whatever in 3 different foreign countries. And we don't seem to be getting any answers. It's been 6 weeks. We still they can't answer the most basic questions. That's weird.
We don't know anything. It's worse than Vegas. And this is far more high profile. It's like if there is a situation where you need the answers, it would be this one, right? I mean, yes, with Vegas as well. But obviously the president or former president, high profile. Yeah. So if there's one that you do all the digging, you pull out all the stops, you get everybody in on it to really try to dig down and find out what the hell is going on, especially when the man is running for president right now. So what's to stop it from happening again or somebody else attempting? You would try to get the answers there. And the fact that we know absolutely nothing. Nothing. We don't know anything. We know nothing about this other than it was just this funny looking dude who somehow wiggled his way up on a sloped roof that because it was sloped, they wanted nothing to do with it and set off a shot. And just because he turned his head at the last second, he did not set off what could have been something far more egregious in this country if they had off that man, right? And we know nothing.
Yeah. Well, and I'll add to that. We know practically nothing. But what we do know just raises more questions than answers.
Yeah, I mean, with how he got up there, I mean, I still don't understand that because, you know, we saw that body cam footage where it did kind of seem to validate some of the whole, well, he was looking, that one cop, I guess, got hoisted up there.
Yeah.
And then they was looking, he looked at him and then saw, I guess he pointed his gun at him and then he
jumped down.
But then you have like, okay, well, they said, or at least they were floating around this idea that he didn't use the ladder to get up there.
Well, how did he get up there, right?
I'm like, is he Spider-Man to get up there with his rifle as well? Let's be honest.
Right.
If he wasn't using because they're saying that ladder wasn't put there for him, or he didn't put it there and he didn't use it. I'm like, well, how the hell did he get up there?
Exactly. And the backpack, they say was on the ground, right? I know it was on the ground at a certain point. So he's not carrying the rifle up on the backpack.
Yeah.
If it was on the ground, he's already carrying the rifle up. So again, it's like these most basic questions that should be answered by now.
Yeah.
Oh, and don't forget the fact that they went up and, I mean, they were spraying that thing all the way
They wanted to wipe it
clean.
clean, baby.
Don't think you are going to find any evidence at this point. And that was like the Monday after it happened?
They wanted to clean it up quick.
So quick.
Yeah.
So this same organization that was like, tracking down anyone who was within vicinity of Washington, D.C. on January 6th. Anyone who had a plane ticket to D.C. on January 6th. They have the ability to track down all of this information about you guys. They can tap your phones. They can do all sorts of stuff. But at the end of the day, they still don't have any certain information on this random 20-year-old who, by the way, they immediately knew he acted alone. Seems suspicious.
And when you bring something up like that, well, we saw what happened at the Capitol, and just how so many people, grandmas, everybody's being criminalized for that. They're going to finding people left to right, imprisoning people wrongfully, all that good stuff. They were able to find everything that they needed to find for January 6th. And now you have something like this. As high profile as it gets. It's on live TV. It is not just a former sitting president, but also one that is running for president again. So he is quite literally on the campaign trail. Yep. And it's just nothing. It's just some guy, for some reason, young guy, for some reason, was able to get up there and let off a shot and shot the president. And we don't know why. We don't have a manifesto. We don't have any paper trail that shows exactly what would have led him up to it. I'm sorry, Sarah. I don't believe that shit. I just don't. Excuse my language, America. I just don't believe it. I'm sorry. I can't believe that. Because I've seen too many examples of them being able to find that needle in a haystack whenever they needed to, especially when it meant criminalizing their ideological enemies.
Yep.
So what am I supposed to believe right now? Y'all don't got anything? Come on, man.
Yeah, I don't believe it. It stinks. All right, we've got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Well, there was a lot of lowlights this week at the DNC, but so much so that you take the wins where you can get them. And this one is a particular win for me personally. New breaking evidence has emerged revealing exactly where Nancy Pelosi was just mere moments before her DNC speech. Watch very carefully, please. Oh, there she is, gracing the stage. Oh, hold on. What was that on the ground? Could we see that again, please? Could we? Yeah. Uh-oh. I have it on good authority that toilet paper fell out of Nancy Pelosi's pant leg.
Eric, do you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, man.
What do you think I was doing in the bathroom?
I would like to not entertain those thoughts, whatever it was.
How embarrassing! How freaking embarrassing. But seriously, what the hell was that? What was it? What are the options? Like, is it on the foot or coming out of the leg? It looks like it's coming out of the leg because it's not on the foot prior. So what the hell did she have in her pant leg? Okay, hold on. New theory. It's a very slim, compact, what do they call them? Where you can take alcohol to go. What are they called? Whatever the hell they're called. She had vodka loaded up in that thing and she was drinking.